Hello folks, welcome to the EJ Tech Show, and it's time to talk about the ROG Phone 5, Asus's latest generation gaming smartphone. And look, we've already done a first impressions video for the device, so you guys can check that out. We'll put up a link for you guys in the description. But in this video, it's verdict time. Should you buy this phone or not? But before we answer that all-important question, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you're feeling a little bit more adventurous, do hit that subscribe button as well so you keep getting regular updates. Okay, so Asus ROG Phone 5, a totally maxed out phone, every spec you can imagine this phone has, but we're not going to dwell too much on the specs because what it really comes down to is that experience. What is it like to game on this phone? What is it like to use it on a daily basis? And trust me when I tell you this, the experience actually begins with the unboxing. So when you open up this box, you're greeted by this Akira artwork, and then it's brought to life by using the augmented reality on the camera's app, and then it just becomes a total full-blown anime. So a nice little Easter egg there for anime fans for sure. But other than that gimmicky and cool stuff, the gaming, man. And we've both gamed on this for a little while now, and for me personally, it's been a great experience.
Yeah, it is. Like I had said in the previous video as well in our first impressions, it is overpowered, and that's been my overarching diagnosis for this review. This phone, just in every which way possible, whether it's just normal everyday scrolling or whether it's gaming performance or whether it's taking a picture, everything is just super quick. It responds immediately, and that's where things like that 300 hertz touch response rate and everything come into play. It's really just a quick experience, and outside of I think OnePlus, I don't think any other phone brand actually offers this sort of speed, at least in India.
So it was never a doubt that performance would be great here, especially when it comes to gaming, thanks to that very powerful Snapdragon 888 processor. And it's not like Asus is also skimping out in other areas of performance, so it's not like they're offering you LPDDR4X RAM or UFS 2.1 storage. You're getting the full works over here. So this variant has 12 GB of LPDDR5 RAM and 256 GB of UFS 3.1 storage. So when it comes to multitasking, when it comes to storage speeds, rest assured you're in very, very good hands over here. But I'll tell you this, of course I have gamed on smartphones that have the Snapdragon 888 like on this one, and I've also learned on other phones, but there's something about the Asus ROG 5. Now whether it's that high 144 high refresh rate you're getting, or like you said, the 300 hertz touch sampling rate, I don't know what it is, but it just feels so much smoother. So for me, if I was a hardcore gamer, which I'm not, but if I was one, I can see why this would appeal to them.
So by now I'm sure you've noticed that glowing logo, the ROG logo at the back, and the reason it's glowing is because this phone is currently in something called X mode, and that's something we've also seen on previous ROG devices. That's basically Asus saying, you know what, you want to take this phone from normal to extreme, just press that X mode button and it'll take you there.
It just basically optimizes everything towards gaming. Like if you want to have a good gaming experience, that's the mode ideally you should be on. But then of course there are disadvantages. It will eat up into that battery life as well. So that's why Asus has also introduced something called dynamic mode, I believe, which is giving you more of a balanced performance. And if battery is really a concern for you, although it shouldn't be because it does pack in a 6000 mAh battery, but if it is, because if you are excessively gaming, then there's also that battery saving special mode that will just focus on enhancing and also saving battery life as well.
Yeah, and considering the 6000 mAh unit is split into two cells, you do get quicker charging here.
So it does support up to 65 watt charging, but in the box you don't get that. You'll have to buy that separately if you want that super fast charging. In the box you get 30 watt charging,
which is still okay, but it's better than a lot of other brands do at this price point. But still, 65 watt at least, to have that option, that's a good thing.
So a 6000 mAh battery, which is pretty generous. In my testing, it really depends on what you're doing with this phone, right, on that display. So if you're going to use it with that 144 hertz refresh rate turned on all the time, if you want to crank the brightness to the max, you will notice a quick dip in the battery life, right? But I did that on purpose just to see how much stress it could handle. But if you, let's say, switch over to 90 hertz and then maybe set the brightness to 50%, do a little bit of gaming, use it as your daily driver, essentially it's easily a 1.5 day battery life without any issues. And even then I was pretty much torture testing it, so I was pretty happy with the overall battery life. And because like you mentioned, that battery has been split into two, you do get really super fast charging. Now we only got a 30 watt fast charger and the numbers were pretty respectable. So from 0 to 50% it took just under 40 minutes, and from 0 to 100% about 1 hour 20 minutes. For a 6000 mAh battery with 30 watt charging, that's not bad. The one thing that obviously separates this phone from your regular flagship phones is, of course, those gaming-centric features that you get. And as always, this does come with those air triggers that just really give you that competitive edge. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not the best gamer. 70% of the time, I get my ass kicked in Call of Duty Mobile. But with those triggers, I've killed people that I know ideally I should not have been able to kill, because that is giving me that great edge, and it's so quick, it's so responsive, and I think it's been improved this time as well. Like last time it was good as well, but they've done some tweaking, and as always it's more customizable, it's got more motion touch controls, but overall it just really works well for me.
The very fact that these air triggers act as a sort of advantage over other players with non-air trigger phones, that I think is reason enough for you to buy it if you're someone who does enjoy playing mobile games a lot. But that being said, if you do want to buy this device just as a daily driver, you can totally do that as well. It has a completely normal theme that Asus provides, that if you want to use it as just a daily driver.
So you got that gaming skin, and then you got the normal cleaner ROG skin as well, that you should ideally go for if you want that cleaner aesthetic. The good thing about being a gaming phone is that it does come with a lot of accessories, and Asus did send us that Aero Active Cooler 5, and that was pretty cool because you were a big fan of that. You use that. So once you attach that, something really special happens. It gives you extra controllers in addition to that air triggers as well. So that's like, talking about competitive edge, now you're in a completely different ballpark altogether.
Exactly. Imagine you have 1, 2, 3, 4 physical controllers already, plus your thumbs. So that's almost 6 touch points for control, which is way more than anyone else is using possibly on any phone.
So of course it does help with cooling. So once you attach that, it will lower the temperatures to give you more optimal performance. In our testing, it reduces the temperature by 3 to 4 degrees, which doesn't sound like a lot, but there's a big difference between, let's say, 28 degrees and 32 degrees, right? You don't want that throttling issues. It's a good, accessory to buy, but then that being said, you also get a lot of inbuilt stuff over here that helps with the thermals. So this time around, you got a center design CPU, which is supposed to help with thermals more. Plus you get that graphite vapor chamber as well, which will again help with heat dissipation system. Because last thing you want when you're doing intensive gaming is for your phone to throttle and then just start to lag up. But with the engineering that Asus has done inside, it's not going to happen. One more thing about the Aero Active Cooler, it does come with its own headphone jack, which I really like. Plus, it also has the same RGB glowing light, which matches the lighting from the inside. So attention to detail, Asus always does it very well.
Now, while I do like the outlandish sort of design that Asus has put on the back with all that LED dot matrix thing.
It's a new dot matrix system.
But it is quite heavy. This phone is quite large and quite heavy in the hand. It's 10 millimeters thick and weighs 237 grams. So it is definitely a chunky monkey. But yes, that's mostly because Asus doesn't want that any of the internals inside to thermal throttle. It doesn't want any sort of heating issues going on. So they've said, you know what, let's just make it a little bit thicker. That's fine. And also, to be fair to them, they have had to cram a lot of tech inside this.
But the display itself, it's pretty big, right? So it is a 6.78 inch display. And honestly, I thought my hand could pretty much handle any phone display size, but I think I've met my match with this one. This is very big. So if you have smaller hands, this size will definitely terrify you.
Yeah, it's basically like buying a small tablet.
Let's just look at the design aesthetics as well on the front with this display. So you do get slightly bigger bezels on the top and bottom compared to the sides, and honestly that's okay. Now if this was the state in any other phone, I would have said no, that's very wrong, they need to give slimmer bezels. But because this is a gaming phone, it makes sense of it, because let's face it, if you're going to be doing a lot of gaming on this, you're going to be doing it in landscape mode, and you need those bezels to offer you that respectable and good grip, so you don't get those accidental touches either. If you did get those curved edges over here, it would have kind of taken away from the experience of properly gaming.
Those big bezels really allow Asus to tune really nice stereo speakers here, and proper dual front-facing speakers.
So none of that, it doesn't double up. It doesn't double up on the earpiece. These are proper stereo speakers with excellent stereo separation as well. Not only are they loud, but they offer you some really, really good bass. So whether you're gaming or if you're watching content, you never need to use that headphone jack. You got it,
Yeah.
but you don't need to use it. I mean, I understand if you're a proper gamer, you will appreciate that headphone jack because it does now come with that really high audio codec, but nonetheless, those stereo speakers are fantastic. Okay, anyway, coming over to that display now, and this is a Samsung AMOLED panel. It is 1080p, but because it is a Samsung panel, AMOLED panel, you can expect like really good vivid colors and deep blacks and all of that. But brightness, I wasn't too keen on it because it does go up to 800 nits of peak brightness, and it's okay if you're gaming or watching content indoors, but outdoors it will take a little bit of a hit. But for indoors, it's absolutely fine. And like I said, it does get that really super high refresh rate, 144 hertz. So this is a very, very snappy display.
Yeah,
so,
but if you are, let's say, daily driving this device for one day and saying,
Yeah.
let's say, not playing games, you can totally just go to the settings, turn it on auto,
Yeah.
and then it'll just
it
change
does-
the refresh rate
it
based
gives
on
you
what
options.
you're doing.
Yeah, it does give you options
Yeah.
as well, 60, 120, 144 hertz, and that auto switch as well. But apart from that, really, really buttery smooth display. I had no issues with that whatsoever.
And it also gets a scanner underneath it, a
Yeah.
fingerprint scanner underneath it, which in true Asus ROG phone fashion, like every other thing on this
Yeah.
device, is super fast
Yeah.
and super quick to respond.
Okay, so now let's talk about the most important thing about any gaming smartphone, and that's the camera. No,
Yep.
not really. But this isn't a bad camera, right? We've been testing it, and I think gaming phones generally get a bad rap for their camera-centric features. But I think Asus has delivered pretty well. I mean, this is pretty much the same camera setup that you got on the ROG Phone 3 as well. So they haven't really changed things much. So specs-wise, you're getting a 64 megapixel primary camera, you're getting a 30 megapixel ultra wide lens, and you're also getting a macro sensor.
And I think that's precisely the nail on the head. The fact that this being a gaming phone, that camera gets looked at a lot more, and people just say, oh, but the camera is not nice. But,
Yeah.
you know, for a daily driver, it's more than a respectable camera. You'll get nice colors, you'll get nice contrasty pictures, you'll get nice sharpness because it's a 64 megapixel sensor, and ultra wide shots also are pretty okay.
Yeah.
Yes, color sometimes is a bit off.
Yeah.
But that's something that happens with
But
almost.
look, anytime you switch from your main sensor to another sensor, another lens,
Exactly.
there's going to be a difference in color. You'll never be
Yeah.
able to get that exact same color. You'll never be able
Precisely.
to match it. But yes, I did also notice that in some ultra-wide clicks that I took, the colors were beautiful, right? Especially of landscape shots. So the sky was looking really punchy, really blue, and the leaves and the trees all looking very colorful. But then when I punched up, the sky went totally gray.
Yeah.
It just did not match. So consistency might be one issue with this camera, but then the same can be said about a lot of other non-gaming camera smartphones as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. That this phone is not being built for the camera,
Yeah.
but they're still nice enough to give you a nice high resolution sensor. So if you want, you can take those pictures, edit them to your liking, and put in your own color profile or whatever you like on it. But for the most part, they're just there because that's just something you do in a 2021 smartphone.
So this is one of those smartphones where we can just keep on talking and talking and
Yeah.
never finish. But sadly, we do have a time frame. YouTube algorithm isn't very nice to people who keep overly long videos. So we're going to sum this up now, right? And let's first talk about the pricing. So the ROG Phone 5 starts at 49,999 rupees. So that's for the 8 GB RAM, 128 GB variant. This one, the 12 GB RAM variant with 256 GB storage, goes up till almost 58,000 rupees. So just 57,999 rupees. But for a phone that starts under 50K, I think they've packed in a lot of good stuff over here. And honestly, the only person who probably wouldn't go for a smartphone like this, right, is someone who just isn't into gamer design and gamer aesthetics. But for me personally, yes, this is a gaming-centric phone, but I found that it did everything else absolutely fine as well, right?
Exactly.
So it does everything fine, and honestly, the way I look at it is that you get all these extra gaming features as a bonus. It's an add-on.
Precisely.
So sign me up.
Yeah, that's basically my take on this device as well. That if you're someone who looks for utility, this phone has it all. It
Yeah.
gives you everything. And that's why I think pound for pound, the ROG Phone 5 is the best smartphone you can buy out there right now. There are barely any compromises on this device. It packs in every feature you could want and then some, which you probably won't even ever use. Possibly the only thing you aren't getting is an IP rating.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit of a shame, but again, it's understandable because of the way the ports in this are designed, so they can't really make everything water resistant.
That's true.
But it's still it gives you the full works. There's no compromise in this.
But anyway, that's about it. Let us know what you think about the new Asus ROG Phone 5 in the comment section. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.